Hey kids, this is Ivan. It's day 26 of RPG A Day 2021. And the word I chose for today, I believe it's the main word, is the word theory. Well, that's like just your theory, man. And, the word theory has, kind of like undeservedly taken a bad rap in like part of society. Let's just say certain parts of society. And not surprisingly, it's also got kind of an undeservedly bad rap or reputation amongst a segment of gamers. And I take my theories very seriously. I'm a real science buff. I take umbrage when theories get compared to hypotheses and all this kind of stuff. And I find that part of the problem that people tend to have with the word theory is they misunderstand exactly what it means. And so there's all kinds of definitions, but I found this really great quote by this guy Kenneth Miller of Brown University. I think he's a cellular biologist. I could be mistaken. But this was a good one and really hits the nail right in the head. He says, a theory doesn't mean a hunch or a guess. A theory is a system of explanation that ties together a whole bunch of facts and not only explains those facts, but predicts what you ought to find from other observations and experiments. So a good theory just isn't just going to explain what you can see, your observable facts, but it's going to make some predictions so you can test it. Now, it's true that RPG theory, or theories, they're not subject to the same kind of scientific rigor that scientific theories are. But they definitely come under a lot of scrutiny and what we'll call peer review. And we examine each other's theories and put them to the test, especially if there's something you can test. And the discussions I've had with people about theories have been really engaging. It's one of those things, this is RPG a Day, it's a positivity, and that's something that's been very positive for me. And the thing is, though, the factors that go into like the RPG experience, there's tons of them, and it's one of the things that makes it really fantastic. But it also is one of those things that makes it really kind of impossible to have really good, rigorous experiments because there's just so many factors, you can't control them all. It's like this apocryphal story of a basketball player who, stands at the center court or wherever it is. It's supposed to be really hard to make a basket. And he makes a basket, and the coach is like flabbergasted and say, "Can you do that again?" And he says, "No, but I can do something similar." And he makes another basket. He says, "See, can't do the exact same thing again." So like when you experiment with RPGs, we find ourselves in the same kind of position because there's so many different factors. But despite the problems, despite the disagreements, I find the theories to be fascinating. And I think, ever since, as young as I can remember, I've had this intense desire, this almost like affliction or blessing or curse, whatever you want to call it, to understand the world, to understand, oh, my cats are fighting. Oh, they're pretty mad. They're, to understand what's happening. And, what makes this thing tick? Why do things happen the way they do? I guess you call me a truth seeker. I think it's from Wizard's First Rule. Great book. But like I find it fascinating, like looking at all these things, like how different intentions produce different actions, which produce different results. How games get designed to produce a certain feeling. What we bring to the table as people, as players, the dynamics that go on between us, between the characters. What kind of experiences are we having? How do those mix? All these kind of things. Really fascinate me, and it's neat diving into that and looking, under the hood at our hobby and seeing, well, what makes this thing tick? What makes some experiences the way they are, other experiences the way they are? And the conversations I've had with my friends are always really cool, especially the ones where we're bringing observations about our own experiences, especially the ones that we've shared, and bringing our own unique perspectives to, like, what happened then? What was going on? Why do we think this happened the way it did? And the cool thing, though, is just like scientists, we don't have to stop at just being theoreticians and doing some experiments and say, oh, how does this work? We can be, for lack of a better word, engineers. We're the applied science. I used to love just pure science and think applied science, that's boring. But we can apply, what we've learned from RPG theory, from our understanding of what's going on. And because we understand how the various factors interact with each other, if we want a particular experience, then we can do the things necessary to get it. And we're not at the whim of fate. We're not helpless, and we're going to have a bad experience one time, and other sessions will be good, and we're not going to know why. We're going to know how to do the things that are going to give us the experience that we want. And so we don't have to be stuck in like unsatisfying experiences. And so that's pretty cool. Might even call it scientific. Good heavens, Miss Sakamoto, you're beautiful! Science! Take it easy, kids.